How tall am I? 6'2". Breaking news this afternoon, so I thought I'd hop on here and tell you all about it. A little Kung Fury soundtrack. So let's get that out. Director of National Intelligence Richard Grenell has declassified a mysterious Inauguration Day email from former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. And he has transmitted it to the Justice Department. This email is as follows. Now, we knew some of this email, but now we have the rest of the email. So this email was sent, remember, 12:15 p.m. by Susan Rice, essentially to herself, and she CC'd a few people, on the day of the president's inauguration. I think that by 12:15, the president had already been inaugurated, if I remember that morning correctly. I have to look that up. But if I remember correctly, I was there. My wife, my son, my brother. Not my son. He wasn't born yet, obviously. Actually, she wasn't even my wife yet. So here's what we now know. So we knew before that her email on January 20th was going back to memorialize a briefing and a meeting that took place on January 5th. Here's the part that we knew. On January 5th, following a briefing by IC leadership on Russian hacking during the 2016 presidential election, President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI Director Jim Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates in the Oval Office. Vice President Biden and I were also present. President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities by the book. The president stressed that he is not asking about initiating or instructing anything from a law enforcement perspective. He reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would by the book. Okay, so remember, what we had here was a blend of law enforcement and intelligence looking at things that was never supposed to happen. This is what we talked about in my Periscope earlier today when Grenell put out this limitation, this new limiting order on the FBI and their access to signals intelligence, because intelligence information is not supposed to be mixed in with criminal investigations. So here we go. But this is, and these are the words of Susan Rice, by the way, explaining Barack Obama's knowledge and information about this investigation into Flynn. And here's the new part. Here's the part that we didn't have. Director Comey affirmed that he is proceeding by the book as relates to law enforcement. From a national security perspective, Comey, and I'm just going to pause this here for a second, because Comey now is trying to play this game of wearing two hats, where he's mixing his, what's up, Raheem Kassam? He's mixing his role as the director of a federal domestic investigative agency of criminal investigations with intelligence information that's been derived from a FISA warrant on Sergei Kislyak, the Russian ambassador. Remember, Kislyak had the FISA on him, and we know from the McCabe testimony that that FISA information was given in raw tech cuts. Remember, if you've been following my reporting all week on this, last couple of podcasts covered this. Those raw tech cuts were then briefed up the chain from McCabe to Comey to Clapper to Obama. So that happened first. This meeting took place after that. And Comey is mixing. He's mixing intelligence information with and national security stuff with criminal. Grenell just ended that. Comey said that he does have some concerns that incoming National Security Advisor Flynn is speaking frequently with Russian Ambassador Kislyak. Comey said that it could be an issue as relates to sharing sensitive information. President Obama asked if Comey was saying that the National Security Council should not pass sensitive information relating to Russia to Flynn. Comey replied, potentially. He added that he has no indication thus far that Flynn has passed classified information to Kislyak, but he noted that the level of communication is unusual. The president asked Comey to inform him if anything changes in the next few weeks that should affect how we share classified information with the incoming team. Comey said that he would. We also know, of course, that later during the transition time, that Barack Obama warned Donald Trump specifically to not bring Flynn into his administration. Here's the part that doesn't hold water. General Flynn, 3-star general, 33 years in uniform, held a security clearance for practically that entire time, probably the entire time. Would have had at least a secret clearance because he was always an intelligence officer, so he probably had at least a secret and definitely top secret as an intelligence officer. Then he was the incoming National Security Advisor. He had absolutely every legal right and duty, as a matter of fact, to be interacting with his counterparts in the international community. All right, this was literally his job. He was not a private citizen at this point. He was a member of the president-elect's transition team who had been duly nominated to become National Security Advisor. So the only thing that Susan Rice should have been doing through this period of December and January is working on how to properly conduct a transfer of power from her role as the current National Security Advisor on to General Flynn. But instead, we now know that they were abusing their office, abusing the FISA Act, abusing the surveillance on Sergei Kislyak because of political differences. And now we see this here, that they were talking about Flynn passing classified information to Kislyak. That's never even been discussed before. We now know that there was no information. They admit there was no information, but there's no indications or information that Flynn was leaking classified information. This is a completely baseless accusation that apparently James Comey, Barack Obama, the president of the United States, former president of the United States, Barack Obama, Susan Rice, and everyone else in that meeting were having a discussion about Flynn, whether or not Flynn was actually a Russian agent. Think about that for a second. Think about how absolutely insane that is and how absolutely stupid it is that this went on, right? That they would abuse their power so much and spin the facts to fit their own very twisted funhouse mirror kind of worldview of what they thought was going on in this situation. We know the transcript of the Flynn call because it was leaked. It was leaked to David Ignatius of the Washington Post. They talked about sanctions. They talked about upcoming UN votes. They talked about what they thought Russia might do in response to sanctions. This was clearly the realm of foreign policy. This is the exact realm of foreign policy. There is nothing. There's absolutely nothing here that was done that violated a single U.S. code. General Flynn was doing his duly appointed role in the transition team by holding a conversation with the ambassador. Now we know because of other Grenell disclosures and Grenell declassifications that there were multiple unmasking requests made of General Flynn over an entire period of time from the end of the election, or I should say from the beginning of the transition period until early in the administration. January 31st was the time frame that they looked at. So they were looking at November 8th through January 31st. That means that more than just one phone call was looked at. And we saw this from Treasury. We saw this from the ambassador to Italy. That's certainly something that's interesting, if whether or not it ties in Joseph Mifsud, of course, who we know was in Italy and Rome, and was presumably was located at, or reportedly located near the Italian ambassador's residence, the U.S. Embassy. And so what we're seeing now is the level of, it's either corrupt or it's just incredibly dumb, right? You're either stupid or it's corrupt. And, I'm not a mind reader and I can't necessarily tell who. So I was having a conversation about this with someone who's another fairly well-known, periscoper and political commentator about this, and we were trying to go through the list and determine who in this chain was corrupt and who was just dumb, right? And it's kind of a parlor game because you can never know, right? But Comey, I tend to think that Comey was just dumb. I tend to think that Comey was just dumb. I never got the impression that James Comey was a very intelligent individual. I never got the impression that he really understood most of this stuff. So yeah, I just don't. Yeah, and he views himself as this. They call him the Cardinal over at in the J. Edgar Hoover building. He views himself as like the last Boy Scout. He's the sole defender of the Constitution. So he's just totally wrapped up in himself. And in pro wrestling, you call that being a mark for yourself. And or getting I guess more of like a street terminology for that would be like getting high on your own supply. That's James Comey. He's totally high on his own supply. McCabe's a bad actor. There's no question. McCabe's a bad actor. Read his book. Total bad actor. The Logan Act, please. We talked about that earlier today. What else? Susan Rice, again, bad actor. No question. She's not stupid. She's not a stupid person. Andrew McCabe is not a stupid person. No. Absolutely not. James Clapper, very stupid. Very, very, very. And anyone who knows James Clapper, as everyone worked about James Clapper or worked with James Clapper or interacted with him, knows that he's very, very uninformed, not really a smart guy. I remember John Brennan. He was the guy who got his AOL email hacked because he still used an AOL email. No, these guys, they're ruthless and they're good at playing the game and they're good at, DC politics. But they're just really not that intelligent. So any other basic questions on this email? The fact this is out, and obviously, and here's the next step, by the way. We now know that Lindsey Graham apparently has realized that he has an actual job and that he's drawing a paycheck for a purpose. And he was given the chairmanship of the Senate Judiciary Committee for a reason. And now he's preparing subpoenas. And I certainly hope, public hearings that will be held to bring all this stuff out. We've got Wawa, by the way. It's diet half and half. So that's half iced tea, half lemonade. That's what I'm drinking today from my wonderful ZOA cup that you guys know well. My famous ZOA cup at this point. So what other questions do you guys have? .OANN.com, Mount Up Jack Posobiec. New artwork is out for Agent Poso, by the way. Go to your Indiegogo or check your email if you're on there and check out the new artwork for Agent Poso. I love it. I hope you guys love it. as well. Tanya loves it. She already wants to get it framed. I'm super excited about that. Let's see. Is there a chance someone flips? Well, we're going to need someone to find out who leaked, right? We got to find out who leaked. Rubio, that's a complete joke. 4D warfare is understanding how overrated book smarts are. Yeah, seriously. Barack Obama, very book smart. Very book smart. Good politician, though. Very good politician. Folks, I'm looking for questions about this topic specifically. If you want to talk about something else, then that's what we're going to talk about. Was there parallel reconstruction going on here? Of course, we already know that. Talked about it for years. Is this evidence for RICO? Not really. No, it's not really. And go back to Barr yesterday. Can Flynn sue? Yes, Flynn can sue. Go back and watch my interview with federal litigator Ron Coleman on this, talking about how much Flynn can sue for and the fact that Flynn is going to get paid. He is absolutely going to get paid. Of course, Will Chamberlain just did a fantastic Periscope on his on the latest in the Flynn case. They basically filed to the Court of Appeals to get rid of the current judge and get him to agree that, look, I mean, that the constitutionality of that. But there's no question that Flynn is going to get paid. Yeah, Flynn is going to absolutely get paid. Mm-hmm. Will Flynn get his security clearance back? I don't know that he wants it. I don't know, actually. We'll see. He will be able to write his own ticket. Well, I mean, he's going to have certainly going to have a book about this. I don't think I'm breaking any news. I'm telling you that he's probably going to be writing a book about all this. And I hope that I personally hope that there's a screenplay about it. I hope that there's a screenplay. I think it'd be fantastic. And, graphic novel, right? Have to do the graphic novel, just like Agent Pozo. Are there transcripts of the Flynn? Are there transcripts of the Flynn call? Well, of course. That's what prompted this whole thing, right? But we've never seen them. So we'll see. We will see. And I would like to see the transcripts. I think we would all like to see the transcripts. The problem is that we can get the transcripts of the call because the call is recorded, but what we don't have is transcripts of the interview that he did with Peter Strzok and Joe Penka without a lawyer. So, and they lost the original 302 of that interview. So the original 302 is lost. The FBI does not record their, okay, you don't know what 302 is. Oh boy, we got to start over. Going back to basics. Sorry about that. So a 302 is an FBI summary report of an encounter that they had. And so when an FBI agent, or agents in this case, conducts an interview, the 302 is what they write up based on their recollection of what happened in that interview and what was said in that interview. There is no recording of that interview. So they're claiming that Flynn lied in his interview compared to what he said on the phone call transcript, and yet we haven't seen the transcript. Flynn has never been given a copy of the transcript. Sidney Powell's never been a copy of the transcript. And more to the point, we haven't even seen the original 302. We've never seen the original 302 from that case. Furthermore, we have no actual transcript of that original interview with Flynn because they didn't record it. So the entirety of Flynn's prosecution was based on a couple of words being different in a in a thing. Hold on a second, guys. In this interview. And I'm back. No, there's no question that the FBI should have to record their interviews. There's no question. If you're going to prosecute someone for false statements, then you've got to have a recording of it. In this day and age, come on. There's no question. It's 2020. It's literally the 21st century, and you're going to tell me they can't record. What's up, Cerno? You're literally going to tell me that in the 21st century we can't have a recording of a conversation from the FBI? So you're gonna go after somebody based on a transcript that no one has seen, that Sidney Powell, his own lawyer, was not given. Right? They're talking about it in the Susan Rice email, and by the way, even the Susan Rice email, how do you know that that is true? How do you even know that you can take Susan Rice at her word as to what was said in that meeting between Barack Obama and everybody else who was in there? Barack Obama, Comey, right? These guys have lied so many times at this point. Susan Rice is known as a liar. She's the one who went out and pushed the Benghazi lies. So you can't, you're just going to take her word for it, right? Now imagine that. By the way, imagine you trying to do that as a private citizen. I see someone in the comments there. Oh, I'm so sorry, IRS. I lost all my tax documents. Can I not pay taxes this year? That's what the FBI does. That's what the FBI. Can we see the transcript that I'm being accused of lying about? No. Can I see the recording of this interview with the FBI with Joe Penka and Peter Strzok? That weirdo that he kind of looks like a fish. I don't know why he just moves like a fish. He moves like a fish. We do this song for Jack Jr. when we're singing. We just one little red fish swimming in the water. But I think about that when I think of Peter Strzok. He's not red. He's yellow. One little yellow fish swimming in the water. You know that gif of him where he's just kind of like woo woo. That's Peter Strzok. He's one little yellow fish swimming in the water. So there's no recording of that. There's no transcript. The original 302 was lost. There's no transcript that's been provided of the phone call with Flynn. And that's why this is all dropped, by the way. That's why this is all dropped. But furthermore, we're seeing that they were actually discussing at the highest levels of our government. There's no higher. The Oval Office, the director of the FBI, the National Security Advisor, the head of the intelligence community are actually having a conversation about Flynn being a Russian agent based on the fact that he was having a completely legal phone call with the Russian ambassador, right? This was Twitter back in the day. I don't say it anymore, but I might say let that sink in. I might, but I'm not going to. I might say let that sink in, but I'm not going to because I don't say it anymore. But you can feel it. You can feel it, can't you? You can kind of feel you can kind of feel the let that sink in energy around this one. You can kind of feel that energy around this one a bit. So the fact is that they were seriously discussing Flynn as an agent of Russia with zero evidence. They, at this point, by the way, keep in mind that they had already opened a counterintelligence investigation against Flynn. They called it Crossfire Razor. They were going to close it. They were going to shut it down because they had no evidence, because nothing came back that made any sense. They had already opened an investigation of him, and it came back with nothing. Then they said, oh, he's calling the Russian ambassador. So let's use that. Why were they targeting Flynn? There's a couple of reasons they were targeting Flynn, and various people have various reasons. So the corrupt people were targeting Flynn because they could, right? Because they could, because there was enough stuff around Flynn that they could, right? And McCabe and Flynn had beef from a long time ago, a DIA versus FBI dust up that was going on. Someone who was on JDA and a sexual harassment case where they were on the other side. Keep in mind that Obama fired Flynn, so there was beef there as well. Second, you got the book smart people, and the book smart people were just stupid, right? They were so dumb that they actually let themselves be led by the nose by the bad actors into actually falling, like Comey, falling for this canard and that one little yellowfish swimming in the water, Peter Strzok, that Flynn was an agent of the Russian state. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And unfortunately, it's about power. It's about influence. You know, it's pretty much all it is. It's pretty much all it is. So, and we've seen the notes, right? We've seen the notes. We're going to try to get him to lie so we can get him fired. We're going to try to get him lie to get him fired. You've seen the notes, seen the abuse. And Barr isn't prosecuting, by the way. Barr isn't prosecuting the abuse of power. I'm be very clear about that. And I said that yesterday as well. What they are doing is they're looking for specific violations of law, and they're going to prosecute those. So Kevin Kleinsmith, who falsified an email, and then, of course, whoever leaked Flynn's name and the contents of that phone call with Kislyak that was derived into the FISA intelligence and the tech cuts. Remember the tech cuts? I've been talking about the tech cuts for how long now, right? Like a week straight, nothing but tech cuts. Because that was the information that we got when Grenell declared. By the way, can we just give a thank you to Richard Grenell, by the way? 2 years ago, I remember being one of the only people that was saying that we need to support Grenell through the Senate. Remember the Republican Senate was pushing against Grenell. Jake Tapper was very homophobic, by the way. Jake Tapper, very homophobic on this one. Because Jake Tapper didn't want Rick Grenell to be confirmed. And so Jake Tapper was fighting against Rick Grenell. You know who was there? I was there. Jack Posobiec was one of the people 2 years ago telling you that Rick Grenell is the guy that we need to get in. I was doing periscopes on it. I was doing hashtags on it. I was doing everything. I went all in for Grenell getting confirmed. Then he was confirmed. And where did he go? He started out as the ambassador to Germany, killed it. Absolutely killed it. Then he moved over. DNI, crushing it. And he's only been there 3 weeks. Folks, he's only been there 3 weeks. And this is how much he's done. So by the way, folks, when I go all in on somebody, I've done my homework first and I know who I'm getting involved with. And I'm not going to put my name, I'm not going to put my good name on somebody that I know isn't going to do the job. No, I'm going to make sure that we have an absolute savage, an absolute street fighter, someone who knows how to go on offense in these situations, someone who has the talent stack. Look at the talent stack of Rick Grenell, by the way. Oh my goodness. What a talent stack on that guy. Seriously. The way that he's taking it directly to the deep state with all of these declassifications, the way that he's running rings around Chris Wray. Furthermore, the way he's been running rings around Adam Schiff, making Adam Schiff look like a punk, making Chris Wray look like a punk. Then finally, plus social media, dude, crushes it on social media. What's up, Ron Coleman? Ron Coleman crushing it on social media, as he does. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Absolutely crushing it on social media every single day, Rick Grenell does. Third, when he does his media hits, when Grenell does his media hits, he destroys it. He's amazing on media. Grenell is amazing on media, and Barr is amazing on media, and that is one of the reasons they can't stand these guys, because Republicans aren't supposed to be good at media, right? Republicans are supposed to suck at media. You're not supposed to be good. You're not supposed to be persuasive. You're not supposed to have emotional IQ. You're not supposed to be able to have any of those abilities. That's supposed to be one of the purview of only the left, right? Only the left. But there you go, Grenell. And he's objectively the most handsome man in Washington, in government. He's objectively the most handsome man in government in Washington. Now, if you're including media, then we've got a debate. But objectively, there was what? You're not secure enough in your own sexuality to admit that Rick Grenell is a handsome man? Come on. Losers. As people who are scared of admitting it means that they're scared of something else. Because it's a fact. It's just a fact. Like, it's just a fact. Get over it. It's just a fact. It's literally just a fact. Shut up. Losers. I swear. Absolute losers. Just a fact. Ken, what's up, Fleckus? Admit everybody's here today, man. Everybody's here. Love it. All right. What other questions does everybody have? What other questions? So look, Pozo told you to get behind Grenell. We got behind him. Now look what he's doing. Now he's bringing everything home for us. He's bringing home the bacon for us. That's what we wanted. That's what we're doing. Moving forward, we know that the next level of this is going to be the Senate. And we need to hold Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham does not like to do his job. So unfortunately, he's who we've got. So we've got to make sure that Lindsey Graham continues to do his job at the Senate Judiciary Committee, where he somehow became the chairman. He's who we got. So Graham is the guy who has to do his job, because we need to be there every single day in and day out with these hearings. And Comey needs to come back, and Clapper needs to come back, and we need to ask them about all of their previous testimony, and specifically all of their public statements about Russiagate. Remember, these people said for years, they went up publicly for years saying that that Trump was in bed with Russia. For years they were doing this. For absolute years they were doing this. And we need to, I want people to get up there in the Senate and play their clips from TV when they would go on TV and say the things that they said. Remember John Brennan towards the end of the Mueller investigation? Well, I know that these indictments are going to be coming down. The indictments are coming very soon. Trump is in panic mode. Here come the indictments. Friggin' John Brennan. What a grifter. Absolute resistance grifters, man. I'm telling you. Absolute resistance grifters. That's all of them. McKay's book, Little Resistance Grifter. Peter Strzok, the one little yellow fish swimming in the water. Shut up, Peter Strzok. Shut up. John Brennan's like an old man trying to return soup at a deli. My soup. There's something wrong with my soup. That's a Seinfeld line. I wish I could take credit for that, but that's a Seinfeld line. There's a hair. There's not enough potatoes. There's not enough potatoes in my soup. Do it again. I actually worked in a deli for a long time, so I worked in an Italian deli, Corporalese in Norristown, Pennsylvania. If you guys know about it, this is this is something that it's a real thing. It's an absolute real thing. Someone had a great line. These guys were really in charge of our intel. Seriously, think about that. Seriously, these are the people in charge of keeping America safe. Now you wonder why we have terrorism problems and why we have Chinese spy rings all over the place. I've been talking about the Chinese spy rings for years. I'm glad that people are finally starting to pay attention to it. But, you say, hey, wait, guys, what about the Chinese spy rings? Oh, no, don't worry about that. I need more potatoes in my Italian wedding soup. There's not enough Swedish meatballs on this hoagie. Do it again. Do it again. That's John Brennan. Do it again. Right, you wonder why we got all these problems. Because these were the guys running things. And James Comey is up there. Well, Flynn might be a Russian agent. Hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a Russian agent or not. We've got to do it by the book. And I told Barry And I told Susan, and I told Joey, old Joey Biden, that we're going to do it all by the book. Yes, we're going to do every piece of this by the book. I'm going to grow a beard on my quarantine, and then I'm going to walk over to Iowa and walk around in cornfields to show everybody how much I care about this country and ears of corn, which I am taller than. I don't know why that's significant, but it's true. I am James Comey, and I am taller than ears of corn. I was in charge of the FBI. I can't even keep it straight. I'm sorry. I can't even keep it straight. I was in charge of the FBI. Look at the corn. Look at the corn. I was in charge of our national security. And you wondered why the terrorists were getting in left and right. You wondered why everything was going on. You wondered. What was the guy's name from Las Vegas, the Las Vegas shooter? Stephen Paddock? Never heard of him. Omar Mateen? No got time for that. Flynn might be a Russian agent. That's what we need to worry about, folks. Just look at the corn. Look at the corn. Flynn might be a Russian agent. Don't worry about those other things. Or don't worry about those Chinese spies and Jeffrey Epstein and Harvard and everything else that's going on. Because Flynn might be a Russian agent. We better take this all the way to the Oval Office. We've got to talk to Barack Obama about this. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston bombers. Well, Russia warned us about them, but they were probably lying. And Bob Mueller says we don't have to worry about those Boston bombers. So, well, look at the corn. Just look at how tall the corn is, and look at how tall that I, James Comey, am. Well, don't have to worry about that because General Flynn might be a Russian agent. How do I know? Well, he's reading Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich on Twitter. He's got to be a Russian agent. There's no other explanation, folks. There's no other explanation. We got to stop meeting like this. It actually kind of makes me lightheaded when I do that. Impressive. James Comey, the corn whisperer. That's right. James Comey, the corn whisperer. I'm whispering to the corn. Could he stay out there with the corn maybe? I don't know. He should stay out there. McCabe does like that. McCabe does more of like a fake serious voice. Well, of course we had to look into the allegations specifically. We had the Logan Act. This was passed by Congress all the way back. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Andy McCabe, Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Well, James, we have to understand it's very serious what's going on here. They have the Logan Act. It was passed the Adams administration. This is very important. It's a sacred oath that we all swore to the Logan Act. That's why I, Andrew McCabe, have decided to continue this surveillance of General Flynn. Don't call it spying. Don't call it spying. What we're doing is that we're spying on Kislyak, and then we're using that information to get all of his phone calls with Flynn, where we can't find any actual laws they broke. Wait, what? Wait. Yes, the Logan Act, Jim. It's the Logan Act, Jim. We've got, what's the Logan Act, Andy? What's the Logan Act? I never heard of that. Well, Jim, the Logan Act was passed in 1799 in the Adams administration. It is the bedrock of American jurisprudence and national security. It is the most important law that's ever been passed in the United States. But I've never heard. It doesn't matter, Jim. It doesn't matter. Wait, what about like terrorism or like active shooters or this guy Stephen Paddock in Vegas with all that? Jim, none of that matters right now. We need to uphold the Logan Act immediately. There's only one thing we can do. We've got to bring this to Obama. Oh man, I'm gonna get lightheaded if I keep doing this. By the way, one good satirist is worth like 1,000 essay writers. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. By the way, these are the voices I hear in my head when I read James Comey. When I remember him talking in front of Congress in March of 2017 and all the things that he said. And then the New York Times, Jeremy Peters said that Jack Posobiec lied about what James Comey said, but I didn't lie because I cited it. I cited it specifically on Twitter. And I went back and I pointed out that James Comey said that no one pressured him to drop his investigation. But Jeremy Peters of the New York Times decided that Jack Posobiec was wrong. And so he had to write a big story about how mad he was at Jack Posobiec for pointing out that James Comey was a liar. You just gotta laugh because it's clown world, people. You just gotta laugh. It's clown world. Absolutely clown world. What am I drinking through my famous ZOA cup here at One American News Studios, Palatial Washington Bureau? It is Wawa, half and half. Big old Wawa, half and half. It is diet, of course, no sugar for me. So it's half iced tea, half lemonade. So if you don't want a full shot of lemonade, because for me, lemonade it's a little bit too tart, a little bit too sour. It's not something that I really want to fully commit to, but I want a little bit of lemonade for a twist. Whereas iced tea by itself, it needs a little something, right? The iced tea is a little too bland. So when you've got your iced tea and your lemonade, mix it together. It's called an Arnold Palmer. You've got the best of both worlds. And for my money, it doesn't get much better than Wawa. And for my money, it doesn't get much better than Wawa brand half and half diet iced tea lemonade. Yeah, Arnold Palmers are absolutely the bomb. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping before I got to run. Dinesh D'Souza just sent me his new book. Check it out. It is From the United States of Socialism. This is the latest. I don't think it's out yet. It's going to be out, so you can check it out when it comes out. Of course, our favorite cast of characters there on the front. And we've got Omar. We've got Warren. I think that's Warren. It's supposed to be Warren. Yeah, that's Warren. Warren, AOC, and Bernie Sanders. A specter. No, I'm not making fun of this. I'm actually serious. A specter is haunting America. The specter of socialism. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we encounter a melange of strange socialist caricatures. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Bernie Sanders. Is that supposed to be Rashida Tlaib? It looks more like Warren to me. And a whole political party that seems magnetically drawn toward the socialist camp. This development by itself is surpassingly strange because socialism is arguably the most discredited idea in history. Very cool book. Just got it today. Can't wait to read it. Check it out. Looks good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that Tlaib or is that Warren? I say it's Warren. I think it looks like Warren to me. Because it's the short hair. Because Tlaib doesn't have short hair like that. That's Warren. I'm telling you, it's Warren. But on the back, it doesn't mention Warren. The back mentions Tlaib. So that's why I'm wondering what's going on there. I don't know. But to me, it looks like Warren. Yeah, definitely Warren. Yeah, no question. And then new t-shirt came in. Very cool from Tactical Pro Supply. I showed this on the earlier Periscope, but I'm going to show it again because I appreciate people who send me free stuff, as they did. Made in America. Totally made in America. Live free or die. Cool shirt they have. USA. It says established USA on it. It's very cool. You can see right on the tag that it is made in America, which we all love. I'm not sure exactly which state, but I can probably find out if you so desire. I could probably just see where they mailed it from, actually. Wait one on this. I will tell you specifically where they mailed it from. They mailed it from Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky, wonderful, wonderful state. Rand Paul State, Covington Catholic, Kentucky. And it's got a pretty cool on the sleeve, got our flag logo. And this, I can't tell for sure, but this does look like it might actually glow in the dark a little bit. So cool t-shirt. Added to my workout / running gear. Any other quick questions before I run? No, it was not made in China. China. It was not made in China. Not gonna be made wearing anything that's made in China anymore. We're gonna be decoupling from China. Decoupling from China. No more China. No, my Trump impression is awful, so I'm not even gonna try to mess with that because it's just awful. I don't have it down. It's hard to do. Some people can do it. There's that dude on TikTok who does it really well. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does it really good. He does like Obama and Trump together, and he's got it. I think he's got it down really well. Arizona green tea with ginseng. Yeah, I like diet Arizona green. I'll do diet Arizona green tea. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have all the time. I love it. Absolutely love it. Seriously though, any other quick questions before we run? Agent Poso, yeah, because I really limit my sugar and my carb intake. Agent Poso, and I do intermittent fasting as well. So I don't eat before. I only eat between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Agent Poso new artwork is out, so make sure you check that out. Super awesome. I might just show that to you guys. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see the new artwork while you're here? Should I do that? Jack, do you want to promote your own work to your followers? I mean, I guess. Well, it's not my work. I shouldn't say that. It's not actually my work. Because it is the work of the team who's writing a comic book about my life and my family. Kind of wild. But the new update number 7, just came out. So I'm going to run through some of the artwork. So not all the artwork. So I've seen more artwork from the thing than has actually been released. So I have to be careful what I show. All right, we're going to go backwards on this. Have I met Charlie Kirk? Yeah, Charlie's a friend. All right, here's me. This is the sticker for Agent Poso Task Force Aegis. This is our logo. So this is like, it's basically bumper sticker size. This is the thing that's coming out very soon. It gets more people in here. This is the patch. So this is the brand new patch that came in. Very excited about this. Very, very excited about this. So this is the actual patch. This is an actual shot of the patch. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit so you can see it. This is embroidered. See that? This is actually embroidered. So I don't have one yet. Once I get it, I will I'll show you guys that on the video. But this is the embroidered patch. How cool is that? It's a really great patch. It's really, really, really cool. And so we just got that in, so you can see the stitching right down here all the way throughout. Very, very, very cool. And let's go start showing you some of the actual artwork. Okay, Cassandra Fairbanks from the team. She's kind of our kind of our tech person. Police drone. We had police drones even before the lockdown took place. Because remember, we wrote this last year for the most part. We wrote this last year for the most part, but police drones were already a part of it because we could definitely see the police state as it was coming. So we see that coming out. Here is me and DC Drano in full mission gear. Why do we have those goggles on? I don't know. What could it be about? Hard to say, but we'll find out soon. There's the whole team together. That's me, Drano, Kath. So that's me right there, DC Drano, Cassandra, and that's Tanya in the back. Yeah, DC Drano is kind of like the muscle guy. The heavy, if you will. Another shot of Drano. Various weapons. Ooh, what's this? Can anybody tell where this is? Where is this? So I will say that this is where the bad guys have their hideout. The arch nemesis, the antagonists of everything. In the Agent Poso comic book. Is it Chicago? No, it's not Chicago. Somebody was close. Someone's close. They're not quite right. No, not DC. No, we're from DC. All right, there it is. Someone got it. Shanghai. So that's Shanghai. That's the Oriental Pearl Tower in Shanghai. So that's where the bad guys are in Shanghai, right there. And then, boom, look at this. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys see it. It's the family. Look at this picture. How cool is that? So yeah, Tanya already wants to get this framed, as you can imagine. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? So that's me, my wife, and my son. And notice, of course, that he's got his headset and he's got his little, tablet that he's working on. Oh, he's part of the team. He's absolutely part of the team. So yeah, when they came to us and said they wanted to make a comic about my life, I said, "You're crazy," but hey, that's what they wanted to do. So Chuck Dixon, of course, the guy who created Bane from the Batman series, he created Birds of Prey. Familiar with that? That's comic series just got made into a movie with Margot Robbie, and now he is now he's working on the Agent Poso comic. So there's Tanya Tay, Jack, and Dad, Agent Poso. So there's all of us. Agent Poso's hair is a little bit shorter than mine, so I may have to I don't know, I may have to cut my hair or restyle it. That's more of like the old Navy way that I used to do it. But this one, I think this really looks like Tanya and Jack. I think this really, really, really good. There's another one they did of Jack, which he's like running down the hallway, and it's really, really, really good. I think so. Super kudos to the whole team. Brett Smith, who was working on it, the same guys who did Trump Space Force, Sergio Cariello, who did the Action Bible. So when you go to, when you're in, once things are reopening again, and you go to like your Michael's Arts and Crafts or your Hobby Lobby, you'll usually see they sell the Action Bible there. So really, really cool artwork, really great writing. So just blessed to have this whole team working with me on this. And when they came to me and said they wanted to do a comic series about my family and about my life, I said, okay, let's give it a shot. Always wanted to have a comic, and now we do. I read him as a kid. I kind of got away from it as an adult, but now that I'm doing it more, there's definitely a bit more going to it. You guys remember the intro, right? I'll show you the intro. I am still working on my Antifa book, by the way. I was just working on it last night. So many projects. And remember, we got Carpe Doncum, who did the video. So I'll leave you guys with this. We had Carpe Doncum, who did the video for the Agent Poso Task Force Aegis launch back in September. So if you guys don't remember that, we're gonna watch it again.
Good morning, sir. Downloading mission details. Additional security measures required. Voice print identified. Communications coming online. The task force is in place. Welcome back, Agent Poso.
And of course, Carpe hops on right when I play his video. Did you hear me talking about you, Carpe? I was literally just about to sign out though. But yeah, really, really cool. Thank you again to everybody who backed this, who helped us get across our threshold back in September and October when we were doing all this. And super thank you to Carpe Donkum for his video that he did for us. He's just a great guy, really good friend. He says he has 5G in his brain. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Well, that's how fast your brain is. Or probably even faster than that. But yeah, definitely just such, thank you and so much graciousness to not only all of you fans and supporters and everyone who supports me and has supported this mission and has supported this Patriot movement all the way back. We started in 2015. Can't believe it's been 5 years now that we're still doing this stuff and supporting us in our various endeavors. And so it's a talent stack, right? It's a talent stack kind of thing where, yes, I've written books, and yes, I've written tweets, and yes, I come up with hashtags, all this various different stuff. And yes, I have a TV program that I do. But at the same time, and the investigations that I do at the same time, I've always wanted to branch out and do more writing, do more fictional stuff. And so now with the Agent Poso graphic novel, we've got a way where we can use art and we can use culture, because I've talked so often about the importance of culture, the importance of influence, using culture to influence what's going on in the world and to present these ideas of geopolitics in different ways. So that being said, I've got to run because I got to get home to my little boy and my wife. Love you guys. I mean that, seriously. Ladies and gentlemen, you have my permission to lay ashore.